guys' role is in it, and it's really pretty easy. It's really about yard signs and getting some information out to folks that may be interested in the mattress. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Eric.
Hello, you can clap for Mattress Man, that's all right. Good morning. All right, for those of you that don't know me, I am known throughout the state of Iowa as Mattress Man. My wife calls me Eric or Eric Schmidt. And to answer your first question, yes, my mother is very proud of me. So I should get that knocked out. So this idea, you're probably, for those of you that have participated in this before, have been in this before, thank you for all of your help, and sorry that you have to hear my speech again. For those of you that have not participated in this, we're going to give you guys an idea of how this works, why it works, all of that good stuff. And then for those that have participated in the past, we're just going to do a refresher, because all this is really what it comes down to is a promotional thing that we're trying to do to get people here through the door. So this idea called the Mattress Fundraiser actually began with just one location back in 2005 in Cleveland, Ohio. Since then, it's expanded to over 88 different franchises throughout the entire United States. My wife Jamie and I started our franchise, we started our franchise back in 2018. Since then, we've performed over 150 of these one-day fundraisers throughout the state of Iowa, and we're averaging just around $7,000 a fundraiser in a single day that we work with the folks on this. We've done 2 fundraisers with you guys in 2 days. And we've already raised well over $14,000. We're open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on a Saturday. That means it's open 7 hours. That means you're averaging you're averaging $1,000 an hour for every hour that we put into this. Also, since 2018, we've been able to help raise over $600,000 in those 6 years that we've been operating. Our national company has been able to raise over $70 million for high school programs. And on top of that, we've got well over 100 people here today. We've definitely exceeded expectations. Thank you all for taking time out of your day. We haven't sold a we haven't sold a mattress yet. We've already raised $1,000, so that's worth clapping for. And is this going towards?
So we've got several projects that we're working on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got a trailer project, truck project that we're working on, some stuff, trying to get some money in for those. But that's what this is. This is geared towards operational fees with the program.
So operational fees obviously very expensive to get those trailers ready, to get your kids from point A to point B with all that material. So for those of you that have not participated in this before, you're probably wondering, what is this? You're probably, when you hear Mattress Fundraiser, have the idea of Mr. Trainer sending your kids, dragging your mattress door to door, begging people to buy it so they can go home, and I assure you that is not the case. We are a fundraiser just like any other fundraiser, but with a twist. We're just like, whether that's selling cookie dough, whether that's popcorn, the only difference is we sell mattresses. So how does this work? Well, for one day, we set up a professional mattress retail store inside of your school, inside of your commons, with over 34 different display beds on display there. This is a mattress store just like any of the other fine retailers throughout the central Iowa area. Whether that's Homemakers, whether that's Levita, whether that's Mattress Firm, we're the exact same thing as them, selling the exact same manufacturing products, with the exact same manufacturer warranties. But what separates us from the herd is our business model. Versus spending all of that money at a regular brick and mortar store, by operating at your school for free, we shave off all of that brick and mortar overhead cost. So we can take those same name brand mattresses like Purple, like Helix, like Therapeutic, whatever it may be, and we can mark them down anywhere from 25 to 35, and in some cases 40% off regular retail, because we don't operate out of a regular storefront. Another thing that separates us from the mattress retail herd is our advertising tactics. Versus spending all of that money on TV, radio, newspaper, print, we save all of that money, and we just work with all of you guys doing a word of mouth campaign over the next 4 to 5 weeks, promoting the Mattress Fundraiser. And by doing that, we shave another third of our overhead cost off, which allows us to give huge sums of money back to the programs that we work with. And I'll go over the funding here at the end. So now you're probably wondering, okay, you got the business model aspect of it, but why? Why does it work? Well, if you think about it, not everybody in the world eats cookies and popcorn and stuff, but everybody in the world sleeps. Everybody in the world sleeps on a mattress, or should be able to sleep on a mattress. And everybody should be able to get a good deal on a mattress. But there's also important statistics that go in behind besides this. If you think about it, sleep is very, very important. It affects your mood the next day. It affects your brain capacity the next day. It affects everything about your day-to-day activities. Sleep is so important that if you ain't sleeping right, I promise you, you're also not living right. Think about this. When you leave Earth, when we all leave Earth, we all have spent an entire 1/3 of our life sleeping. Statistically speaking, if you think about this, 1 in 10 people replace a bed in their home every single year? That is a huge stat that goes under the radar. If you think, because people don't go around talking about the mattresses. You'll talk about your new car, your new porch. You'll invite people to come over to see the new tile in your kitchen. But how many of you actually go around and say, hey, what are you doing this week? Do you want to come check out my new mattress? Not many people. And we don't suggest doing that. We're going to give you guys some tips on how to talk about mattresses. But nobody does that. But that is a huge stat that goes under. The average person knows 400 people. That means 40 people you know this year are going to be buying your mattress. We just don't know who. Your town, no, sorry, not your town, but the school district alone has over 15,000 people in it. That means 1,500 mattresses in this school district are going to be purchased this year. We just don't know who because they don't go around talking about it. And that's what we're asking for all of your guys' help in terms of promoting this thing. So let's see what else. So how do we promote this? Well, for one, if you're in the hunt for a mattress, come on down on the 13th of September between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. We're going to have 34 different display beds there, and we'll be able to hook you up with a much better price than anybody else because of where our business model is. But we're just needing your help promoting it more than anything. If you need a mattress, come on by. If you don't need a mattress, especially, we're going to ask that you just find your tenants. We call it the 5 tenants. Talk to your tenant. Anyway, 3 tenants, 3 T's, whatever it is. All right, so we're going to ask that when you leave today, these are our babies right here. This is the end-all be-all of everything. We're going to ask that you take one of these signs, 2 of these signs if you could. If somebody couldn't make it, take a sign for them and put it in their yard if you could. Basically, what this sign does is it lets everybody know that the circus is back in town for the 3rd year. It reminds your neighbors every day on their way to work there's going to be a mattress fundraiser on September 13th. It reminds your neighbors every day on their way home from work that there's going to be a mattress fundraiser on September 13th. It's also a great conversation starter. Your neighbors are probably going to ask you, because they're going to see these things all over town, they've been seeing them over the course of years, why do you have a mattress fundraiser sign in your yard? And that's our opportunity to let them know, hey, this team comes in, we've been working with all the schools throughout the state of Iowa each year, and they sell mattresses out of there at a discounted price. These mattresses are brand new, manufactured to order in any size that you want. So they just come in, they lay on them. We have our own sales staff. We pride ourselves on not doing pressure sales tactics. We are just guides to find that sleep level that you're looking for and that price point that people are looking for. If they find anything online, we will do more than price match, I promise you that. So, and then we promise that it'll get you in 3 to 5 weeks. But let me go back to the yard signs. So please grab these and put them in your yard. It reminds everybody of what's going on. Now, we have a saying. If you don't have a yard, we want you to still take one. Or if you're looking at this like, I don't know if I want that in my yard, we want you to take one too and just stick it in your neighbor's yard for us. That we would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. They're free, and they might have your property value. We're on the street. All right, another thing we're going to ask everybody to do, we're going to ask for your help on this. Let's do the posters next. We have hundreds of these posters. If you can take these, rip them up at the bottom. Each one of these at the bottom of this is a discount for a free set of sheets with the purchase of every mattress. So if you could cut this up, hang it up at your work, at your church, at your gym, at your local gas station, anywhere where you think there's going to be traffic. But most importantly, cut up the bottom like so, and then rip one of these off for us. We've done a study, and actually we increase our chances by 27% that if we rip one of these off, somebody will walk by and say, oh, mattress fundraiser. I've been needing a new mattress as well. Very cool. Oh, somebody else is going. I'm more likely to go. The study showed that people like to follow and they also don't like to vandalize. So just rip that off for them. We really appreciate it. All right. We're going to cut. Don't worry, I'll get you guys out of here before 9, I promise. All right. So another thing, we're going to wrap this up here pretty soon. We have thousands of these flyers. If you could grab 20, 50, as many of these as you want. And please, if you can hand them out to 10 different people, I promise you, statistically speaking, at least one of them will show up. The price is at the foot of the bed. They're going to look at the price up there. They're going to go onto their phones, and they're going to know they're getting a better deal. And on top of that, that they're helping out the kids at the same time. So please don't be afraid to share these. There's a discount at the bottom for a free set of sheets. Anybody that buys a mattress is going to get a free set of sheets as well. Write your student's name down at the bottom of it. We want to give credit where credit is due. Each student that is referenced at the checkout desk when they're being checked out, if they tell us your student's name, they're going to get a $25 gift card. I think last year there was somebody that made $150 of Visa gift card money. I know our record is Roosevelt High School. We sold 106 mattresses with them one day. They made $20,000 in one single day. There was a young lady that was taking these flyers, putting them in windshield wipers at church, handing them out to anybody and everybody. She was responsible for almost 20 mattresses, and she got an extra $600 worth of gift card money for her trip to Disney World. So if you can do that. How do you hand it out? How do you talk about mattresses without being weird like I was earlier? So tomorrow morning, when you're at work, you're going to run into somebody, these three people are going to occur. You're going to run into one that's like, man, this weather, there's always that guy. You're like, forget the weather. How's your mattress treating you? Later in the day, maybe in the workroom or like, you know, you eat lunch, someone's like, man, did you see that thing in the news? Like, the news is depressing. Gets in the way of my sleep. Speaking of sleep, how's your mattress treat you? Burns! And then you're gonna get the quiet one, the one that doesn't talk to anybody. So then you're just sitting there and then, you know, you want to break that conversation with them, like, hey, I was at a meeting last night, and they're gonna say, oh, yeah? I'm like, yeah, it's really interesting. This guy told me, he was in a mattress costume actually, but he said that after sleeping on your bed for 8 to 10 years, when you buy your mattress, on average it weighs 100 pounds. But after sleeping on it for 8 to 10 years, it can weigh up to 200. Now let that soak in for a second. Anyway, I got this mattress fundraiser flyer. So if you can do that to 10 different people, if each person did that, we would sell over 100 mattresses, and you would make over $20,000. If we got 60% participation in here, each person talks to 10 different people, we would sell over 60 mattresses, and you make over $13,000. So honestly, if you just talk about mattresses for the next 4 to 5 weeks, a lot of your fundraising will get knocked out very quickly, because this is the easiest fundraiser you'll ever have to do. We're going to deliver those mattresses for you. I'll open it up to questions, but also I want to squeeze in our delivery crew with the little time that I have. We do not use a final mile company. The last thing you are going to remember, your family's going to remember, your community's going to remember about our company, my wife and I's company, is the delivery crew. I've got a 4-person crew, David, Gage, Josh, and Andrew. These are friends of mine making extra money on weekends and sometimes at weeknights. And you can trust them in your home. I promise you they do a stand-up job. We promise everybody that their mattress will get delivered to them in 3 to 5 weeks from the day of purchase, because it is made from scratch in any size that you want. And we have a free option for pickup. So 3 to 4 weeks from the day of the sale, you can pick your mattress up here at the school. We'll be in the parking lot. We notify you of that. For $45, we will drop it off on your front doorstep at a time that is convenient for you. It'll be me that reaches out to the actual individual customer. And then for $85, we'll set the whole thing up. So with that being said, do you guys have your phones on you? We're going to send a keyword to this text, and it's going to send you your Facebook page. If you could click on that Facebook page that you're going, share it with as many people as possible. I also forgot, if you want to take a picture of this flyer and text it to 10 different people with your student's name down at the bottom, you can do that as well. And then, oh no, okay. Yeah. So, go ahead and pull your phones out. All right, and then we're going to come back and make an announcement for you to hand off the pillows, because Jamie will have to read off who won the pillows. So at the end of the meeting, some free pillows will be handed out. I apologize. All right, you guys ready? All right, we're going to type in this number, and we'll text the keyword to this number. The number is 515-335-2200. Again, 515-335-2200. And we're going to type in Oskaloosa, and then we'll hit send. And then depending on the reception, it should take anywhere from 20 to 45 seconds for you to get that Facebook link back. If you can click that you're going. There's also a video that's going to be on there, like a 1-minute commercial video that kind of shows you what the room will look like, if you can forward that on to folks. With that being said, I will text you the 2 numbers that win the pillows for the end of the meeting. Questions? Concerns? I know I didn't cover everything. All it takes is one person ask a question, and then everybody else starts to feel a little bit more.
Can I give you a personal experience over here?
Oh, yeah.
Tom and I bought a mattress last year. Wonderful, great experience. We did not pay for the fee for delivery. We came and picked it up because we have a truck. It was nice and easy. We've been having really good sleep for the entire year. It's wonderful. So great price, and Lily got $25 on top of it. So
thank you for that. I did not pay her to say that. Paid you guys to be here. Just kidding. Other questions? What's that? Oh, great question. Forms of payment, yes. We collect all forms of payment, whether that's cash, whether that's check, whether that's card, and we also offer financing as well through PCI. They're a well-known group up in Minnesota, and basically we have 6, 12, and in some cases 18-month savings cash option as well. Other questions? Anything you know? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. Let's see, what else is I know I'm forgetting? Oh, the funding you want to know. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you ship to people out of state?
Great question. Usually Mattress Woman's here and reminds me of all the things I forget and ask. So we could ship anywhere in the United States. Actually, so out of our 34 beds, we also have 8 beds, 4 of which are high end, but 8 different beds that we can have roll packed. So that's bed in a box, and we can ship those anywhere in the world. We've shipped one as far as Uzbekistan before. And then, yes, we could get them anywhere throughout the entire United States, and then all 34 of our beds that we have on display, we can get anywhere in the state of Iowa, and almost anywhere throughout the entire country, because we do have those 88 different territories that take care of the map for us. Is your question? Other questions? Okay, so the funding, that's usually a good question. So this is not based on a percentage, it's based on size of bed. So it doesn't matter if you're buying the most expensive one or the most cost-friendly one, the school's gonna make the same amount of money. So with every twin, the school gets $50. For every full, 75, for every queen, 100, and for every king, 125. Queens are gonna be about 75% of your mattresses are sold that day. Then there's a quantity bonus structure. So I'll use Roosevelt just for example for simple math. When you hit 30 beds, you get an extra, it's $1,000. When you hit 40 beds, it's $2,500. When you hit 50 beds, it goes up and up and up. Roosevelt High School, for example, when they hit 100 beds, so based on size of bed, they made $13,500. But when they hit the 100 threshold, they got an extra $7,500 on top of that. So that amount keeps getting higher and higher and higher with each mattress that is purchased. We also sell accessory items, very nice accessory items. And those are gonna come in on average at 40% cheaper than regular retailers. Sheets, whether we got 7 different pairs of sheets, all different kinds of pillows, adjustable bases, things like that. But with those accessory items, the school gets paid out $20 for everything that's over 100 and $10 for everything that's under, and that usually puts about another $1,200 on top of the ticket that we provide. With that being said, I think I covered everything. Got anything else for me? Okay. All right, cool. Well, we wrapped it up in time. Guys, I can't thank you enough, for inviting us back into your community for the 3rd year. We've loved working with you guys. We hope to continue to do a good job of raising you guys some money. We just ask that anybody you can talk to between now and then, we really appreciate it, because you'd be surprised on how many people are A, needing a mattress, and B, want to save some money and get a good deal. And also, if they're trying to do that, I promise you with our selection, they don't mind helping out the kids as well. So thank you guys again so much for having me. You guys have a good rest of the night, and thank you so much. God bless you. Have a good night.
I want to just echo a couple things. One, I really appreciate this fundraiser because it's simple for myself, selfishly. I send some emails, I'll take some signs, I'll get them posted up. And then for folks that are part of the program, I think it's a lot better to have this conversation than to be trying to sell cookies and peanuts and every other item in a out of order magazine. And so I've heard a lot of different schools have a lot of success with this. I think over the last 2 years we've raised over $12,000, $14,000, and it's one day. Really, it's one day of where I need a couple students come in and volunteer and put on the mattress suit and go stand uptown and hold a sign. So for that amount of time investment, it's a really good fundraiser for our program, and so thrilled to be able to continue working with you. And likewise, I bought a mattress last year. I've slept much better since then. Granted, I upgraded from my childhood twin. But it also beat my brother's couch that I was on for about 8 months, and it was better than my bed that I was on prior to that. So yes, highly encourage you to check this out. If you or anybody else that you know is looking for a mattress, come in on the 13th. It's really, really simple, very helpful staff to help us make an educated purchase as well. So give it up for Eric one more time. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a camp update here for you. I'm sure you guys have been hearing a lot about our camp over last week and then resuming today. Really, I'm gonna just start with what our message has been. With our returning members, we've talked a lot about making connections with our newer members. In the band world, there's a saying that kids quit band, they don't quit people. And so if we can have kids that feel like they've got someone that they're connected with, they've got a group, we're gonna be much more likely to keep them. I felt like this group has been very kind and patient with each other. Camp is stressful. There's some things that don't always go as we plan them to, and they have worked really well to listen for instruction and be ready to adjust if need be. I've also seen, I feel like our group of seniors have really led the charge on trying to make sure that our newer members are understanding, and that if they don't understand, that they're getting the help they need. So if you're a parent of one of those returning members, really, really proud of them. Give them a high five, tell them I'm thankful, you heard it directly from me and I wasn't lying. If you're a parent of one of the new members, I hope that they feel like they're making connections and they're getting answers to their questions. If you have concerns about that, please let me know. I want to make sure that every kid in here feels like, especially our new members, our freshmen, that they know somebody that they can go to with a question on day one of school. We all remember going to high school the first day. It's kind of scary, exciting, maybe a little bit unsettling. It was huge for me to know that I had a group of about 120, 130 that had already done it. And so I could go to them and ask questions. If you are somebody that has a new member and they don't feel like they're getting that support, please reach out. I want to make sure that we are getting new members connected with our returning members so that they feel like they have a group. Again, kids quit band, they don't quit people. We want to make sure that they feel like they are our people and part of our group and band here. The next message has been that we're going to prioritize focus, effort, and good attitudes over everything else. If you're Miles Davis, reincarnate, but you have a poor attitude, don't really care to put you in a leadership role or look to you for being helpful or to have that extra opportunity. Attitude is about everything, and it's going to really drive our success this season. If we have a good attitude, I think that we're going to be able to really make some noise. So far, attitudes have been tremendous. Again, that senior group has really bought into this message. At this point last year, I was really encouraged because I saw what we started at on Monday of camp last year and where we were a week later, and it was already better. I would still say that last year we probably had about 60 to 70% buy-in at this point. I'm putting that number at 95% right now. Case in point, today, we put on 6 pages of drill, staff messed up. We had brass and percussion that were, woodwinds and percussion that were starting on measure 3, and brass was starting on measure 1. So they learned all the spots, but we were not lining up our music. So we came back from lunch, we're like, hey guys, we gotta go back out there, we've got it figured out, we're gonna fix this. I didn't hear any complaints. It was a quiet understanding that we'd rather not do that, but if that's what it's gonna take, then we're gonna do it. Kids handled it great, really, really proud of their effort and their attitude and their focus. One more example I'll share with you. When we finish a run, horns up, get done, and they're staying here. They're waiting for us to say, stand by, to where then they're standing with their instrument in front of them, waiting for instruction, and then we'll tell them at ease or relax, which is then they can move, they can chat. Why is it so structured? And I have to say this to the kids, and I'm sharing it with parents. It's not about power and being in control. It's about having an efficient rehearsal. The highlight of that is on our very first day of setting drill last week on Thursday, I set a goal of 4 pages in 2 hours, knowing that we had a bunch of new members. I was gonna have to knock off the cobwebs and remember how do we do this. And I just figured, okay, that's a good goal for day 1. They put the entire first movement on in 2 hours. That's 7 pages of drill. That is a reflection of their attitude, effort, and focus. Lastly, I'll say I had a student walk up to me and was like, what the heck is going on with Mr. Raymond? What are you talking about? This is like, he's cracking jokes and having fun, and I don't know what's happening. And I just shared with them, like, Mr. Raymond doesn't want to be the grumpy old man. But he will if that's what we need. This is much better, right? Yeah, this is much better. So, really, really pleased with that attitude. Mr. Raymond's having a lot of fun. And he said, yeah, they're right, I can be the grumpy old man, but I'd much rather not. So, really grateful for their attitude. That's been a part of our message since we started last year. I think we're really seeing that come into focus. And the whole group is buying in on it. And then the final message was coming out of last week, at the end of the week. Phil, if you know Phil, our drumline instructor, he's very much like Mr. Raymond. There are no free compliments. He does not share pick-me-up encouragement unless it's warranted. He ended last week with saying, we could be scary good. Scary good. People will start to ask, what is going on in Oskaloosa? If we can just stay committed and focused. Coming out of the weekend, I knew that this would be a challenge for the second week. It's not new and exciting. It's, okay, I'm going back to camp. I did not see a dip in that energy. In fact, like I said, with our mistake as a staff, the kids responded to it. And they said, okay, that's gonna happen. I think there's an understanding that as a staff, we're gonna give grace, because kids are gonna make mistakes, right? We're gonna hold the standard up, but we're also going to make sure that we give some grace to our students when we make a mistake. Students are now seeing that, and they're giving it back to us as well. Hopefully we don't do that again. But marching band is messy. There's gonna be times where we have to figure some things out and relearn a couple things. So we just gotta stay committed. How it's going so far, I already shared. First movement is on the field, put 7 pages on in 2 hours. Last year, that probably would have taken us at least 3 hours, probably more like 3.5 to 4. The best bands get the most reps. You get more reps by getting your show on the field sooner, so you can get to cleaning and adding new elements. If you're like my mother, she says that her favorite part of marching band is getting to see the transformation week to week. What new element is added? How much cleaner is it? We're just trying to move all of that up sooner. The goal is to get all of 2 on by Wednesday, so we can start setting 3. If we can start setting 3, we didn't get to start doing that until, I believe, our second Monday practice last year. That means we'd be 2 weeks ahead, 2.5 weeks ahead if we get to setting drill for 3 this week. So, please, give your kids a high five for me, tell them great job. They've had great attitudes and great focus to make that happen. Second movement, I would say over 80% of the band has the entire thing memorized. That 20% that is still working on it, they're largely new members. It's gonna happen, it's gonna get there, it's just reps. Time and time is gonna make it happen. Today, we put 6 pages of drill on. And about 2 hours, we probably could have put another 6 pages of drill on had we not made a mistake, but I'm encouraged by that progress. Day 3 of setting drill on this second movement. I also think that it would have been, it's harder drill. It's more complicated in this second movement. So 6 pages in 2 hours, I will take that just like I did with the 7 last week. I already talked about when I have planned to have it on. Another thing with camp that we've really been focusing on is fundamentals. How we do our fundamentals are going to shape how we march in time on the field. Whether we got toes up, we're all doing things uniform, that has a big impact on our score. If you have been a parent of a student in the program, or you've been a student in the program for years, you know that fundamentals, they were kind of something that was really first emphasized last year, and there was some pushback on it, like, we're spending this time learning how to march, but we're not learning how to march our show. We're able to move through those fundamentals much quicker now because there's a common understanding that this isn't going away. If you're a football player, you need to know how to lift weights correctly. Okay, you need to know how to move your feet correctly. If you're a lineman, how to tackle correctly. You wouldn't learn plays without first spending some time on those things, right? The band is totally bought into the lifting weights or the tackling form, if you will, for marching band. How do we march? What does our plan look like? Are we all doing it the same? Been really encouraged by that. And kids are taking it seriously. They're not just going through the motions. They're helping each other, and they're understanding that that is going to have the biggest impact on our scores. For marching band, there's 2 main categories for scores. You've got an execution score, which is the largest chunk of the score. And then you've got a GE score, which is general effect. How effective is it? You're gonna have a really effective show, with really bad technique. Doesn't usually happen that way. But that technique portion of the score is really closer to 2/3 of the total score, where the G is maybe 1/3. And we're seeing that the kids understand that is our strategy. We will have clean feet, we will have good sounds, and the effect will come from having good fundamentals. The challenge ahead, start of school. That's the big one. As school starts, there's a lot of other things that start coming into the fold. I think Mr. Adams said it best. He had a colleague or a friend that was like, dude, you gotta go to work like 2 weeks earlier than everybody else. Oh man, that sounds like a drag. And Aaron said, no, I get to hang out with kids and make music all day. I don't have to go police the hallways or worry about handing out detentions, just doing music. As we get into the school year, there's a lot more distractions. There's a lot more things that we have to give our attention to, right? I think our staff does a good job of making sure that our rehearsal works with all the other schedules. If we can just stay committed to when we're at rehearsal, we've got things to get done. By the end of rehearsal, we're gonna be able to do X, Y, and Z and work with the same amount of focus and energy that we have so far. We're gonna have a really, really successful year. It just gets difficult when we add all those other things in. Another challenge for us this year, we're trying to implement use of props. We've got some props coming in on Wednesday. We've got some parents working on getting something built for those props. It's gonna take some time for us to figure out how to use those. I've never used props as a director. I'm gonna have to do some learning there. Rusty and Aaron have. Our staff is familiar with it, but I got to put together a game plan with their help to make sure that we can do it in an effective way. We're hoping to have all the props built, ready to go by August 25th, so that we get close to a month using those in rehearsal before we then go to competition. So that's kind of a breakdown of camp and a short look ahead into the school year. A week from today, we'll have our first Monday rehearsal out at Old Community Stadium. Senior banner pictures will be taken that evening, I believe at 5 o'clock in the small gym. Are those still 35? 40. So seniors getting a banner need to bring $40 with them, so that we can get the photographer paid and they get their banner so that it can be hung up out at the stadium, and then it's theirs.
Cash, Venmo, check.
Cash, Venmo, check. So we'll start those Monday rehearsals a week from tonight. Seniors can come in and they can get fit for, or they can get their uniform on and get their picture taken. New members will be getting uniform fitting done this week, starting tomorrow, I believe. We've got some parents coming in to help get those new members fit. I sent out a link to a uniform order fees and a Google form a few weeks ago. On there, it asked for glove size. Some of you, I wouldn't know my glove size unless I get to try them on. If your student is unsure of their glove size, we have gloves available for them to try on, so then they can let you know what size to check so that we get an accurate order in. But they'll get their uniforms fit. All that will be taken care of. Everybody should be fit and ready with their uniform by the end of this week. Anything I'm forgetting on that front?
Uniform person's right there.
Yeah. So I'm Crystal Danny. I kind of head up the uniforms this year. So for the freshmen that are getting their uniforms for the first time, they will definitely be fit this week. Since it's been warm outside, they're probably wearing this anyway, but please make sure that they are wearing kind of athletic shorts and a t-shirt. That is gonna be the best for fitting underneath the uniform. We have kids coming in with jeans and sweatshirts because that's what they like to wear. That does not work for uniform fittings, and sometimes it gets awkward.
Wear what they would wear under their uniform.
Yes.
They're asked to wear shorts and a t-shirt on warmer nights, and probably some kind of a long legging or something that they would want to wear under, like a long sleeve and a long pant on cold nights. Last year it was super warm. I don't think we really had any cold time that when we performed. I think most of them were shorts and t-shirts all last year. The previous year, it was pretty much cold the entire time, so they all wore long pants and long shirts. So kind of keep in mind they're gonna have both.
So, we fit most of the upperclassmen during May term last spring. if you are aware that your son or daughter, particularly your sons, have grown during the summer, ask them to come in and try on their uniform one more time just for another check, and we can recheck the hem length and make sure that we're good on their hems. And similarly, if anyone has lost or gained a significant amount of weight during the summer, ask your student to come in and do a recheck of their uniform also, because I know that happens.
Cool. Regarding uniform fees, those uniform fees are all assessed to their Infinite Campus account with the school. So when you go to pay your uniform fee, you'll probably get a notification from the school of what is owed on the account, and then you'll make your check payable or you'll make your payment to the school. Why do we go through the school? For a couple of reasons. One, our students that are on free or reduced lunch qualify for reduction with their uniform fees. Okay, so that allows our needy students to be able to have the same access to our program as our more affluent students and families. We think that that's equitable, it's the right way to do things, and it also makes it easier in terms of getting payment done. The boosters have been burned in the past with handling uniform fees. The school, tied to the Infinite Campus account, it makes sure that it gets paid. That's a big part of it, but more than that, it's also simpler. The school handles all the business side instead of having to mix some of the business between the school and some of it with the boosters, and then we're mixing different invoices or purchase orders. It's all through the school, it's streamlined, it's much easier. If you have questions about what your students' fees may be, refer to the uniform form that I sent out. You can also call the school once we turn those in. Give me at least a week of school to make sure I got that in at the office. Already referred to what is worn under the uniform. Students, generally when it's warmer, we want them to be wearing a t-shirt, not white. So our show shirts that we will be sending out an order for, or an order link for, that's what most of our students will wear underneath. It's usually a gray or a black shirt. This year's is a gray. So we have something that is loose fitting, can work under the uniform, but then also looks nice if we end up taking our jackets off. Do you have to order a show shirt? Absolutely not. Don't have to order a show shirt. But those are going to be offered here in the next couple days. We got our store just getting set up. I will email that link out.
Should be there tonight.
Perfect.
Should be out tonight.
Students that order show shirts, there's options for like sweatshirts, t-shirts, hoodies, yada yada. I don't want students wearing a hoodie of the show shirt underneath their uniform. I want them wearing a t-shirt version of the show shirt. It will just, yeah, we can't have the hoodie then poking up out of the back of the jacket. Anything I'm missing on the, the one thing I have with show shirts, when you make your order, you will make your payment online on the store. That way, we're not collecting money and I'm going, yeah, has Mindy Wilkin paid for red shirt? You can't put your order in unless you pay for it when you put the order in. Sam?
Parent showcase for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna get there.
For those show shirts, are we supposed to have them shipped to Coach?
No, it
So,
goes to you, I think.
generally how that's worked, or at least how it worked last year, is they came in and then we put the entire order in the student's cubby. Okay, so if, I'm just gonna keep going with Wilkins because our families go way back, and I know they don't mind being an example. But say they order 4 shirts, Rhett's not up here, but imagine that he had a cubby, we would take those 4 shirts, they go into the cubby, then Rhett takes them home, and they get delivered that way, okay? Any middle school students that are part of the group that get show shirts ordered, we will get them down to the middle school and get them handed out to them. Any questions about uniforms or show shirts? Awesome. Next, our performance, we'll talk about the parent preview. Planning on the parent preview being this Friday at 2 o'clock in, just right out by our maroon trailer. There's a field right there that we will do that parent preview. Now I've had some people ask, why 2 o'clock? Why don't you do this at 7 o'clock at the old stadium? Right now I'm fighting sports practice, and state fair. We do it in the evening. Now I'm inviting weekend plans as well as work schedules. I would love to be able to do that, but I also have to be respectful of my students' time, your time, and their other activities, and making sure that I'm allowing for those things to take place. 2 o'clock Friday, right over there. With brief reminder with the show preview, it's always kind of, okay, they got it. But I do think that there's gonna be moments this year where already you're gonna be like, I see what's happening. I see where we're going. There might even be some impact moments where it's like, okay, that gives me some goosebumps. I've had them a couple times when we've been out on the field. Really excited to see what that looks like. Understand that it's a process. It's gonna take time to work out all of the little things, but it is also super rewarding to see where that is at Friday, and then see where it's at September 20th when we go to Mount Pleasant. It's really cool to see that progress. And then over the next 5 weeks and what it looks like at Waukee when we finish up the season. In fact, if you're like me, you probably don't do this, but if you are, you're like taking note of the things that are getting added or the areas that, oh, that was kind of messy last week, but I didn't feel like I had to hold my breath this week, so good job, kids. Brief outline of our schedule for performances. September 5th, I have as our first home football game. September 12th, home football game. We start our competitive season on Saturday, September 20th. And then we run each Saturday for 5 Saturdays. So the 20th, we're at Mount Pleasant. The 27th, that competition's at Pella. October 4th, instead of going to Davis County, we're gonna go up to North Polk. For those of you that are band alums, some really exciting things with the North Polk contest. We're gonna have Paul Brizzi as a judge for us, Denise and Jim Hudson, Bill Ballard, Jeff Norton's gonna be there. Out of the judging panel, I wanna say like 5 of them were employees with this band program at some point. So really exciting. I actually got a phone call from a couple of those guys that were like, hey, you bring the band up, right? North Polk? Oh, good. I didn't want to have to come down to Oskaloosa and kneecap you. But I'm kidding. So really excited for that one. We go to Valley Fest on October 11th, and then we close out the year with state contests at Pella, and then in that evening we'll go to Waukee. A couple more football games. Homecoming is October 3rd. We'll have the parade on the 2nd, the night before on Thursday. All this information will come out each week when we're going somewhere. You might ask, okay, so we're going to Mount Pleasant on the 20th. When does the band play? I don't know. I often don't find out until 2 weeks before, and even the week of, that schedule may change. I send an updated itinerary for each week of what the expected schedule is for that day, and if I have to make a change, I will communicate it through Team Reach. I'm making it a really big goal this year that any email that I send is also copied into a document that then gets sent out through Team Reach. I've got several parents that are not getting emails because they've got a student that's in 8th grade. They're not registered for high school band. So that's how I'm making sure I'm doing my communication. When I follow up with emails over everything that was talked about this week, there will be one for Team Reach. If you're not familiar with Team Reach, it's an app that you download onto your phone. You can plug in our code to join our group, and then you can message me directly. Students can message me directly. I can post. It's almost like a bulletin board that then everybody gets to see that post, and it saves me from students having my cell phone number or me having their cell phone number. I really don't want that information. I don't want them to have that information of mine. This is a way that we can make sure that we can effectively communicate while also keeping a record of all communication that takes place. That's meant to protect staff members as well as students, while also allowing efficiency of information. If there's ever any question or concern about communication with Team Reach, I encourage you to reach out to our new AD, Jamie Jacobs, and she will be more than happy to work with you on all things Team Reach. Couple of things, I guess. Any questions so far? Let me stop and ask that. Yes?
Did you mention about shoes?
Shoes are part of that order form that we will put in. Standard shoe size. If your student has questions and they're like, I don't know if I'm an 8 or a 9, we've got a box full of used shoes that they are welcome to try on.
Or take,
Huh?
or take.
Or take, yes. If you don't want to buy a brand new pair of shoes, we've got a bunch of shoes that we are ready to get into students' hands. That said, we did move away from the Dinkle. Most of the band is marching